In the world of high-end collecting, we often associate extreme value with physical scale. In 2022, a 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR sold for €135 million, setting the auction record for any automobile ever produced. Moving from engineering to the arts, the numbers grow even larger. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi reached a price of $450.3 million, proving that a single canvas can command the capital of a small corporation. At the peak of physical excess, we find half-billion-dollar superyachts. These assets derive their value from massive construction costs, specialized shipyards, and the sheer volume of rare materials required to build them. It is easy to assume that these nine-figure prices require a massive physical footprint. But to find the absolute most expensive things on Earth, we have to look past these colossal machines. To compare these objects accurately, we need to use the metric of value density. This measures an object's price relative to its weight in grams, rather than its total sticker price. Applying this formula changes our understanding of what constitutes true luxury. When we divide cost by weight, the multi-ton yacht and the vintage car suddenly appear surprisingly affordable. This diagram plots physical size against price per gram. As we move from the macro world of cars and boats down toward microscopic dots, the line on the graph trends steeply upward. This indicates a hidden hierarchy in global economics, where the most expensive substances are found at the smallest possible scales. If we shrink our focus from a massive boat to a few sheets of parchment, we find a first edition printing of the U.S. Constitution. It sold for $51.3 million. Meaning the value density of the ink and paper has eclipsed the value of the yacht. The value density increases with the Codex Leicester. It was purchased for $30.8 million, over $64 million today, for a single notebook. These pages contain Leonardo da Vinci's scientific observations. Because of his direct handwritten Murmur script, each gram is worth millions. We can go even smaller, down to a weightless scrap of paper. This is the British Guiana 1-cent magenta stamp. Despite being less than an inch across, it reached a value of $9.48 million. At this scale, value is detached from any concept of physical utility. These astronomical prices represent the cost of owning an irreplaceable moment in human history. To climb the next rung of the ladder, we have to leave the world of human artifacts behind. We are crossing the atomic barrier into the realm of pure physics. This is where we encounter actinium-225. It is a radioactive isotope critical for targeted alpha therapy, a sophisticated method for treating advanced cancer. Actinium-225 is produced in tiny quantities inside specialized nuclear reactors. Because it is so medically vital, global demand far outstrips the world's milligram-scale supply. This scarcity drives the price to an incredible $29 billion per gram. As materials become medically essential and physically imperceptible, their value begins to dwarf that of any historical artifact. To find the final material, we must go to the absolute subatomic limit. Inside a particle accelerator, physicists isolate the rarest substance in existence, antimatter. Producing it is so difficult that CERN can only generate nanograms per year. At current production costs, 1 gram of antimatter would cost roughly $62.5 trillion. That single gram costs more than the combined GDP of the United States, China, and the European Union. You cannot store this material easily. Antimatter instantly annihilates upon contact with regular matter, turning into pure energy the moment it touches anything else. This is the ultimate peak of the ladder. The most expensive material in the universe is one that physically cannot be held or kept. Reviewing the complete value density scale reveals a stark contrast. We began with multi-ton yachts and ended with an invisible trillion-dollar speck. Against this scale, traditional investments are revealed as surprisingly common. These solid gold bars trade for only $65 per gram, making them one of the least valuable items on our list. The motivations of the buyers change as the weight decreases. At the heavy end of the scale, money is spent on social status and luxury. At the microscopic end, it is spent on medical survival and scientific discovery. Ultimately, extreme value is not a physical property. The highest prices on Earth are paid for the absolute limits of human history, or the furthest reaches of human knowledge.